Hello everyone, this is Mrs. Spinagle, and I am going to show you how you can draw and design in Keynote. Keynote is an app on your iPad where you can create slide presentations. You may have heard of PowerPoint before. This is very similar, but you can also use some of the functions in Keynote to create artwork. If you look at the lower right-hand corner of my screen, you're going to see a blue square with a white podium. That is the Keynote icon. Let me tap on the folder where I keep my Keynote app as well. It will say Keynote under it. I'm going to tap that, and I'm going to go to my presentations. To create a new presentation, tap the arrow that says Create Presentation, and it will say Choose a Theme. The one you should start with if you're going to use Keynote to draw is just the basic white. So I'm going to tap that, and it's going to take me to this screen. Now I want to get rid of all the text boxes, so I'm going to tap them and select Delete. Just tap and delete, and you will have a blank canvas. If I want to add more pages to my digital sketchbook, in the lower left-hand corner, I'm going to tap the plus sign, swipe down, and select blank. If I want to add more of the same presentation, I can hold down on the slide and select duplicate. And I can press down and select duplicate as many times as I would like to add as many pages or slides as I need. Okay, one more thing that I think is very important. Do you see where it says Presentation 5? That's the title of my file. Tap Rename, and then you can name this file after yourself. You can name it Drawings. You can call it whatever you want so it's easy to find when you go to get it out again. Now let's look at some ways that you can start designing on Keynote. Start with the paintbrush. There's going to be some things here that you don't need to worry about right now, but let's tap where it says background. This is how you can change the background color of your canvas. It's set to white, but if you tap color, you have many colors that you can choose from. All you have to do is tap to change. If you swipe, you can even adjust and make your own color using the color wheel. But maybe you want to make a gradient. Maybe you're going to create a sky for your artwork. Oops, I didn't mean to tap that. Let's open that back up again. All right, as soon as it comes back up, we will get started where we left off. If I tap gradient, it will give me two colors to create a light to dark or dark to light effect. If I flip it, it changes how the colors are arranged. And you could select any two colors to create your gradient. Whatever you're needing for the work you are creating. You can also insert an image from your camera roll. So that is how we can change the background. Let's try a new slide here so I can show you some other things you can do. Something else that you can do is if you tap the plus sign and then go to the circle and square icon, is you can add shapes. Some of you like to tell me that you just can't draw or you're no good at art. Well, when we're doing digital art, sometimes we can use shapes to help us get started. You can also add text to your work. So I'm going to tap where it says text. It's going to give me a text box that I can move wherever I'd like on the screen, and I can pull it out and make it as long as I want. If I double tap in the text box, I can write in it. As long as I have tapped on my box and it is highlighted, if I go back to my paintbrush, I can change the color of the inside of my box. As long as it's set on style, make sure that it's set on style to do that. I could add a border if I wanted to. And I can also change my text style. So if I want my text to be larger, I just press down on the size plus sign button, and you can see how it grows. All I was doing is pressing down the plus sign out from size. I can change the color of my text. And then if I want to change the font, the style of text, I tap where the blue word is for the name of my font, and I will get more choices for fonts that I could possibly think of. And you can pick the one that would work the best for your design. Okay, I'm going to tap out of the box. Remember, you can move it around wherever you'd like on the page. And let's go back to the plus sign. Sometimes you tell me that you can't even draw a straight line. Well, I just tapped on the line symbol, and now you can draw a straight line and you can move it in any direction. If you want your line to look different than the way it appears when you first tap on it, go to the paintbrush, make sure it's on style, and you can change the way it looks. So I chose the type of line that I wanted, and then you can tap on color, choose the color you'd like for your line, and then you can slide the width of the line up to make it the size you want. If you want to make an arrow, tap on the arrow button, and now you have an arrow. And you can arrange it wherever you want on the screen. Let's go back to that plus sign. There's all kinds of fun things here. You can also make any shape that you may need and size it accordingly. If you want to change the color, tap that paintbrush again, tap where it says style, and you can pick the color that you'd like. If you don't like the 6 colors that are shown to you there, you can just tap on that button that's like an arrow pointing to the right and pick whatever color you need. Tap out of the box. If we go back to the plus sign, I will show you briefly some of the other shapes and choices you have here. You can use a form. You can add objects. You can add animals, things from nature, food, and you can change the color of these by going to the paintbrush and many other things. The possibilities are endless. There are lots of things to help you get started with drawing, even if you don't feel confident in your own art making abilities. Let me go to a clean slide here, and I'm going to show you a few other things before we get to the grand finale of the toolbox where the drawing tools are located. If I go to the right of the circle and square icon after I click the plus sign, I'm going to see these 2 rectangles. If I tap on that, I have some more things that I can do to design. The first thing there, it says photo or video. If I tap that, it will take me to my camera roll that's on my iPad, and you can add a picture that you've taken to your artwork, and then maybe you could add some designs around it. So I'll choose this picture of Molly to put in my artwork. And then if I wanted to choose another picture, or if I wanted to change out any shape or anything that I created, there is a arrow inside of a circle in the upper left-hand corner. If I tap that, it will move things back to where I originally had them, or if I tap it enough times, it will give me the option of removing whatever I just put in. So it's very easy to erase your mistakes when you're drawing on Keynote. Okay, so again, if I want to add a picture, All I have to do is tap photo or video, and then I can pick whatever I would like. Here, I'll do Maggie this time. There she is. Okay. Alrighty, so let's get on to the toolbox. Go back to the plus sign, and then you want to tap drawing. And a circle will pop up in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. If you tap that, the toolbox will open. This is very similar to Notes, when you saw that tutorial for how you can draw in Notes, except there's a couple more options within Keynote that you can now add along with that. So on the right-hand side, you see your palette. You can add colors as needed to your palette or change the color of your drawing utensil. Oops, open. Thank you. And then I have my tools. So I'm going to start. Now the first one you see there that has an A on it, that's just if you have an Apple Pencil. You don't need to fool with that. You can just use your finger to do all of the things I'm showing you. The first one there is a marker. If I tap that twice, you can choose the width of your marker. You can also choose the opacity. Opacity is when you decide if it's going to be see-through or if it's going to be dark enough that you can't see through it. So right now it's set on blue. If I wanted to change the color, I could just tap over in the palette or select one that is not in the palette yet. And that's what that line looks like when you color with the marker. Then there's a pencil. I'm going to set these all on the thickest width so they show up the best on the screen. So there's the pencil. And then my favorite is the crayon. I just really like how that line appears. So let me show you. That was the thinnest line. Here's a thicker line for the crayon, so you can see the difference. If at any time you want to make your screen larger so you can add more detail or you can zoom in, take 2 fingers and pull out on your screen to zoom out, and to bring it back, just pinch in. I'm going to skip this tool that's yellow right now just to go over the eraser. If you tap the eraser twice, you can do pixel eraser or object eraser, and you can change the width of your eraser as well. For pixel eraser, this will erase parts of your drawing. If I set it on object eraser, it will erase the entire mark that you made before you picked up your finger. So if I have it on object eraser, I can just go back and I can tap on whatever I have on the screen that I no longer want. Okay, now back to this tool that's in between the crayon and the eraser. This is the fill tool. It can be used 2 ways. I'm going to change the color of it from yellow to something that will show up well. All right, we'll go with orange. So I have it set on the highest opacity so it shows up well. You can use it 2 ways. You can use it to draw freehand an ellipse shape or even an abstract shape. Or let me hit the undo button, that arrow inside the circle. If you draw an object freehand, oops, I didn't close that up, so I'm going to select the undo button. See how easy that is to fix our mistakes? So this shape is closed up. It needs to be a closed figure in order for this to work. If you have a closed figure and you want to fill it fast instead of going back and forth to color it in, that would take a long time, wouldn't it? Well, what we can do on the iPad, on Keynote, we can use the fill tool, tap on it, tap on the inside of your shape, and it's automatically colored in. That's pretty handy. Then after you do that, if you tap on your shape, it will keep the color that you selected. All right, let me show you this tool that's to the right of the eraser. This is the copy paste tool. What you can do with this, after you select it, you can draw a circle or select your shape by drawing around it, and it will give you the choices: cut, copy, delete, resize, or duplicate. If you choose duplicate, you now have two of the same shape. If you tap on it again and you want to choose resize, you can take the same shape and make it smaller or flip it around, whatever you'd like it to do. This actually looks like a balloon, and I was not intending for it to look like a balloon, but that's kind of neat. Okay, so that is what you can do with the copy paste tool. You can also, oops, I didn't mean to do that, you can also delete a shape that you don't want with that tool. But let's go back, or let's go to the next slide since I have an extra one there, and let me show you how you can combine all of these things. So if I go to my paintbrush, I could change the background. I could make it any color I want. I could change it to a gradient, and I have that on blue, and I think I'm going to link it on blue. So then if I wanted to add a drawing, I tap on the drawing icon, and maybe I want to add some ground. Maybe I want to draw a picture of what it looks like outside. So I could select a crayon, and I may go along the side. If you go outside the lines, it's okay, to draw my ground. I wish I would have neatened that up a little bit, but that'll be okay. And then I could choose my fill tool, put it on green, tap on the inside, and I've colored in my ground. If I wanted to neaten up the edges, I could just go to my eraser, make sure it was set on pixel, and I could fix it right there in the corner where it's not, or was sticking up, that little part was sticking up. And if I want to fix up the edge there where it's showing some of the blue, I could just take my finger with the green. Don't worry if you go outside the lines, nobody's going to see it except you. And fix the ground on the edges. If I wanted to add some clouds, well, I could put it on crayon. I could go to my color picker and select a white color or a light color. Make sure the opacity is on 100. I could draw some clouds, however you choose to draw them. Now you could do it this way, or you could use the color filler that I showed you. It's up to you. If I wanted to add some clip art, I could go to the plus sign, go over to the circle and square, and let's see, maybe I want to add an animal. So maybe I'll add a bunny rabbit. And if I want to change the color of the bunny rabbit, I go over to style, and I don't see a color there that I want. Well, maybe I do. Here's a brown. Make a brown bunny. But if I want my bunny to be a different shade of brown, I could go over to the color wheel and adjust it as needed. Now, I want you to learn how to draw on your own, but you can use shapes to help you get started. And then if I wanted to add some details to my bunny, I could go back to drawing. I might zoom my screen in. And maybe I want to draw the inside of my bunny's ears pink. So I might select the pink. I have it on crayon. I tap outside my screen. And I can, whoops, I think I might have bumped something. I don't know what I'm doing there with my, but you can color inside of the bunny. You can color inside. I don't know what I'm quite hitting there with my sleeve of my shirt to do that. And you can continue to add things to your drawing as well. Maybe you want to add some flowers. So I might choose yellow. And you could use the fill tool for this as well. And if I wanted to draw a perfect circle for my inside of my flower, I could go to the clip art button, go to geometry. Actually, I'd go to basic, and I'd select the circle. And now my flower has a center. So you have fun experimenting with drawing on Keynote. I look forward to seeing what you create. Stay tuned. I'm also going to show you how you can draw using a new app that's on your iPad as well.